My name is Renee Calloway. I'm 34 years old. Last Wednesday, my 7-year-old daughter came home from my sister-in-law's house wearing a yellow bucket hat she had never owned a day in her life. Zoe walked in holding the brim with both hands, pulling it so low it nearly swallowed her face. She wouldn't look at me. I crouched down to her level, smiled the way you do when you're trying not to spook a deer. Cute hat, baby. Where'd you get that from? Nothing. Zoe, honey, let me see your face. Take off the hat for Mama. I lifted it gently, the same way I remove a bandage from a child's arm at work. Slow. Careful. Expecting something. Till not ready. Her hair was gone. Those wild, thick corkscrew curls, the ones that bounced when she ran, the ones strangers stopped us in the grocery store to compliment, the ones I'd measured just 6 weeks earlier at 13.5 inches because she wanted to know how long they were, gone. Hacked down to uneven, ragged tufts. One side shaved nearly to the scalp. The other left in jagged patches, like whoever did it lost patience halfway through. Above her left ear, a 2-inch cut, crusted with dried blood the color of rust. In the plastic bag she was carrying, wrapped in a paper towel like some kind of souvenir, was her braid. She looked up at me with those big brown eyes and said in the flattest, most matter-of-fact voice a child can produce, "Auntie said my hair wasn't fair to Brianna, so she made me wear this all day." She didn't cry. She didn't even seem angry. She was just delivering a message, repeating back words an adult had put in her mouth, not knowing what they meant, not knowing what they cost her. What I did over the next 72 hours cost me my in-laws, nearly cost me my marriage, and blew apart the only extended family my daughter had ever known. I would do every single part of it again. Welcome back to Silent Revenge Stories. This is where real family situations run headfirst into real consequences. No screaming matches, no made-up revenge fantasies, just what actually happens when a quiet person finally stops staying quiet. If this one hits close to home, drop a comment and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss where this story goes. Now let me back up. 'Cause you need to understand who I was before that Wednesday afternoon before you can understand why I handled it the way I did. I entered the foster care system at age 5. My parents, both of them, were killed in a car accident on I-40 outside of Memphis, Tennessee. A semi ran a red light on a rainy Thursday morning, and just like that, my whole world was gone. I was placed in my first foster home that same weekend. Then a second. Then a third. Nobody was ever cruel to me. But nobody stayed either. By the time I aged out at 17, I had a GED, a duffel bag, and a very specific understanding of one thing. I was going to build my own stability, brick by brick, and nobody on this earth was going to take it from me. I worked double shifts at a Waffle House, saved every dollar I could, and enrolled in a nursing program at a community college in Nashville. Got my RN at 23. Landed a job in the pediatric ward at Mercy General Hospital, and I was good at it, genuinely good at it. Sick kids don't care about your backstory. They don't care what table you grew up eating at or whether you had a last name anyone recognized. They just need someone steady. And steady was the one thing I knew how to be. I met Marcus Calloway when he brought his younger sister Tara into the emergency room for a badly sprained ankle. He was 27 tall, wore this wrinkled flannel like he'd grabbed it off the floor, and was mortified that he'd parked in a fire lane. He asked me out while his sister was getting x-rays. I said yes before he could finish the sentence. We got married when I was 24. I'd saved up $43,000 by then, every single dollar tracked in a spreadsheet I still have, and I put it down on a house on Birchwood Court. My name on the deed. My down payment. Our home. Zoe came 14 months later. Red hair. Not from my side, I've never even met my side. Not from Marcus's side either, as everyone made very clear from day one. Wild curls that spiraled up and out in every direction and turned amber in the summer sunlight. She looked like she'd shown up from somewhere magical, and to me she had. The first time Beverly, Marcus's mother, held Zoe in the hospital, she turned the baby around, studied her face for a long, uncomfortable moment, and said, She doesn't look like a Callaway at all, does she? I smiled. I thought she was just making conversation. Lord, I was naive back then. The Callaway family ran on one principle. Beverly decided and everybody else fell in line. Beverly was 63, widowed 7 years, living alone in a big brick house on Crestwood Drive in Franklin, Tennessee. The kind of house where the furniture has plastic on it and you take your shoes off at the front door or you hear about it for 6 Sundays straight. She hosted mandatory family dinners every Sunday at 5. Miss One and the guilt trip came in multiple installments. Marcus was her younger child. Quiet, reliable, the son who showed up to fix things without being asked. He loved his mother the way a lot of Southern boys love their mamas, deeply, reflexively, and sometimes to their own detriment. Tara was 37, the older sibling. Divorced, raising 9-year-old Brianna on her own. 3 years back, she'd lost a perfectly good marketing job and announced she was pivoting to content creation. Beverly had written her a check for $15,000, ring light, camera, editing software, the whole setup. Tara's my creative one, Beverly always said, the way you'd describe a golden retriever who learned a trick. Tara's Instagram account, at Tara McKessitWork, had about 82,000 followers. Her whole brand was the aspirational single mom. Meal prep Sundays. Brianna in matching outfits. Real talk captions about doing it all. Comments were supportive. The sponsorships paid just enough. And by just enough, I mean Beverly still slipped her cash at Christmas. And me? I sat at the end of the table every single Sunday. Not by accident. Beverly set my plate there. Every week. Farthest from her, closest to the kitchen, like I was the waitress who decided to stay for dinner. Renee, could you grab the sweet tea? Renee, the biscuits are getting cold. Renee, you don't mind, do you? I never minded. That was the deal I'd made with myself. Any family, even one that seats you by the door, is better than no family at all. Zoe deserved cousins. She deserved Sunday dinners and Christmas stockings with her name on them, and a grandmother who remembered her birthday. That was worth eating cold biscuits by the kitchen. Beverly called Zoe the redhead. Not Zoe, not sweetheart, not even your daughter. Just the redhead. Like she was a feature of the house she'd noticed but hadn't decided how she felt about. How's the redhead doing in school? The redhead's gotten so tall. I told myself it was a quirky term of endearment. I told myself a lot of things in those early years. I believed almost all of it. Right up until I didn't. Here's what you need to know about Tara's content business to understand what happened next. 3 months before the spa day, her engagement had fallen off a cliff. Her juice brand sponsorship pulled out. A children's boutique stopped returning her emails. 82,000 followers and the algorithm had simply moved on. So Tara tried something new. She launched a series she called Cousin Glow Up. Zoe and Brianna doing hair, trying on outfits, mini makeovers. Harmless on the surface, right? The first video tripled her usual views. But the comment section didn't say what Tara wanted it to say. OMG, the redhead is stunning. That curly-haired girl could be a model, seriously. More of the one with the wild hair, please. I watched Tara delete those comments in real time. Sitting on Beverly's couch during Sunday dinners, phone in hand, thumb swiping. Delete. 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 Then the filming strategy changed. Zoe started appearing from the neck down. Zoe wore hats. Zoe stood behind Brianna. Camera angle shifted so you could barely catch the red curls. I noticed. Course I noticed. I didn't say anything right away because I was still operating in survival mode, the mode where you drop things quickly and quietly because making noise means getting moved. That instinct kept me safe for a long time. It almost destroyed my daughter. I should tell you about one more thing before we get to the spa day. Episode 3 of Cousin Glow Up, the one posted 2 weeks before everything exploded, had pulled 47,000 views. Tara's best number in almost a year. In the comments, someone had written, That redhead's hair is everything. Please do a whole tutorial on those curls. Tara screenshotted that comment and sent it to the family group chat with a string of fire emojis. I thought she was proud of Zoe. I thought she was sharing something sweet. She was counting inventory. There's a difference between loving a child and cataloging what she's worth to your brand. I just didn't see it clearly enough yet. The invitation came on a Friday. Tara called, voice all bright and practiced. Saturday, cousin spa day at my place. Face masks, nail painting, a little hair braiding. Brianna's been asking for it forever. It'll be so cute. Marcus was leaving Saturday morning for a 4-day conference in Atlanta, some civil engineering summit he'd been signed up for since January. I was pulling a 12-hour shift at the hospital Saturday evening into Sunday morning. My schedule was already tight. I hesitated. Tara noticed. Renee, come on. It's glitter nail polish and cucumbers on their eyes. The girls will have a ball. Beverly called 30 minutes later. Right on schedule. Like they'd coordinated it, which they probably had. Renee, let those babies have fun. Don't be that mother. Don't be that mother. 4 words. That's all it took to override every instinct I had. 4 words that have kept more women quiet than any threat ever could. I said yes. Saturday morning I drove Zoe to Tara's house at 10 o'clock. It was a beautiful day, the kind where the Tennessee sky looks like somebody painted it. Brianna was already on the porch waving. Inside, I could see face mask packets lined up on the coffee table, nail polish in a rainbow row, fluffy towels stacked like they were in a spa. Zoe unbuckled her seatbelt and ran up the walkway without looking back. Tara met her at the door with a big smile and a big hug. We're gonna have so much fun, baby girl. I noticed the ring light. It was already set up in the living room, aimed at a dining chair someone had pulled away from the table. Tripod was right beside it. Camera was mounted and ready. I told myself it was just for fun. For memories. Whatever. Tara. No posting Zoe's face. We've talked about this. She waved a hand. Of course, of course. Obviously. Zoe disappeared inside. The door closed. I sat in the driveway for a moment with my keys in my lap, feeling something I couldn't put a name to. Not quite worry. More like the feeling you get when you hand someone something fragile and you watch their grip close around it and something in your gut says wait. I drove home. I went to work. Tara was dropping Zoe off Sunday morning. That was the plan. Here's where I need to pause and introduce you to someone. My neighbor, Deborah Finch, Miss Deb as everyone on our street called her, is 61 years old, a retired schoolteacher, and the kind of woman who notices everything. She'd watched Zoe grow up from a window, brought us soup when I had the flu 2 winters back, and had, on more than one occasion, told me quietly that she thought something was a little off about the way Beverly's family talked about my daughter. Miss Deb knocked on my door Sunday morning at 9:30. I'd just gotten home from my shift, still in scrubs, coffee going cold on the counter. She said she'd been outside checking her mail when Tara's SUV pulled up, and that Tara hadn't even come to the door. Just honked twice, short blasts, the way you announce a package drop-off, not a child. I saw Zoe get out of that car, Renee, Miss Deb said, standing in my doorway, something troubled in her eyes. That baby had a hat pulled down over her ears and she was holding a plastic bag. I couldn't tell what was wrong, but something wasn't right. I just wanted to make sure y'all were okay. I told her we were fine. I hadn't looked at Zoe closely yet. I didn't know. I thanked Miss Deb, closed the door, and turned around. Zoe was standing in the middle of the living room, still holding the bag, still wearing that yellow bucket hat, wouldn't look up. I've already told you what I found when I lifted that hat. The ragged tufts. Close shave on one side. The jagged patches on the other. The 2-inch cut above her left ear, dried blood in a thin brown line down to her earlobe. Her braid in a paper towel in the bag. What I haven't told you is what happened in my body in that moment. There's a thing that happens when you're a nurse and something terrible occurs. A switch flips. Everything that's human and emotional goes into a box, and what's left is pure procedure. Protocol. Steps. I flipped that switch so hard I felt it click. I checked the wound. 2 inches. Not deep enough for stitches. Deep enough to scar. Deep enough that someone pressing dull scissors against a child's head had applied real downward force and lost control of the blade. I set the hat on the table. I set the bag beside it. I went to the bathroom, got my nursing kit from under the sink, and I started taking photographs. 11 photographs total. Close-ups of the wound with a plastic ruler beside it for scale. Wide shots showing the distribution of cuts across her scalp. The braid on a white towel measured at 13 3/4 inches. Every image time-stamped. Natural light from the bathroom window. I wrote down exactly what Zoe had told me, word for word, her exact phrasing, on a legal pad. Printed my name. Dated and timed it, 10:22 a.m. I sealed the braid in a gallon Ziploc bag and wrote evidence on the front with a black Sharpie. Then I called Dr. Sophia Reyes. Sophia is the pediatrician I'd worked alongside for 6 years at Mercy General. She taught me how to identify non-accidental trauma in toddlers during my first month on the pediatric floor. She is unflappable, brilliant, and has no patience whatsoever for people who hurt children. Sophia, I need you to see Zoe tonight. The record first. On the record tomorrow. Silence on the line. Then I'll be there by 9. In 6 years, I had never asked Sophia for anything outside of protocol. She heard what was underneath my words. She didn't ask a single question. I drew Zoe a warm bath, washed her hair, what was left of it, as gently as I could, read her 4 chapters of the book about the girl who could talk to horses. Her eyes got heavy. I tucked her in. Mommy, am I in trouble? I smoothed the fuzz above her ear, careful, gentle, and looked right at her. Baby, you are the only person in this whole story who didn't do a single thing wrong. She was asleep in 3 minutes. I sat on the bathroom floor with the Ziploc bag on the counter above me and the yellow hat on the kitchen table down the hall, and I did not cry. Crying was for later. Right now I had a plan, and the plan needed evidence, and the evidence needed a doctor. Sophia's headlights swept the driveway at 9:15. She examined Zoe while she slept. Pen-light, gentle hands didn't wake her. When she straightened up, she looked at me over the bed and didn't say a word. She didn't have to. Stay with her, I said. I'm going to Tara's. Sophia caught my arm. Renee, don't do anything stupid. I'm going to ask for the scissors. She let go. 20 minutes later, I was standing on Tara's porch. 9:40 at night. Porch light on. I rang the bell. Tara opened the door in pajamas. Surprised. Then guarded. Renee, it's pretty late. I need to see the scissors you used on my daughter's hair. She laughed. Short. Practiced. Oh, come on. It was just a little trim that got out of hand. The girls were playing salon, you know how kids are. A trim doesn't draw blood, Tara. Show me the scissors. Her eyes went left. You're blowing this way out of proportion. Mom said you'd react like this. There it was. Beverly had already called. Before Tara even dropped Zoe off, before I'd even seen my daughter's head, Beverly had gotten to her first and started building the story. I looked past Tara into the living room. Ring light still standing. Tripod still up. And on the bookshelf near the TV, a pair of silver-handled fabric scissors with a dark wood grip. Even from 8 feet away, through the gap in the door, I could see the red strands caught in the hinge. I raised my phone and took one photograph. Are you seriously taking pictures right now? Good night, Tara. I walked back to my car. She was still standing in the doorway when I pulled out. In the rearview mirror, her face looked confused. Confused is temporary. Damage control comes next. By the time I got home, Beverly had already texted Marcus. I know because Marcus forwarded it to me. Your wife showed up at Tara's house at 10 o'clock at night acting unhinged. We need to have a family conversation before this gets out of hand. I didn't reply. I poured myself a glass of water, sat at the kitchen table, and watched Sophia finish her paperwork by lamplight. Wound is 2.1 inches, she said without looking up. Jagged edges consistent with dull scissors applied with downward force near the auricular area. Risk of infection. I'm noting this as an injury inflicted by an adult relative during a supervised visit. She slid the form across to me. 2 copies. I have to ask, do you want me to file with CPS tonight? Give me 48 hours. Renee. I know the protocol, Sophia. That's exactly why I need 48 hours. I need to know if Marcus knew. She looked at me for a long moment. Then she nodded. I sat in the hospital parking lot Monday morning and called Marcus. First real conversation since Saturday. Hey babe, Mom told me Zoe got a little haircut at Tara's. Said it was the girls playing around. There is a 2-inch cut above your daughter's left ear. There is dried blood. I have 11 photographs and a signed medical report from Dr. Reyes. I'm sending them to you right now. The silence that followed was long. Kind of silence where you can actually hear someone rearranging everything they think they know. I'll be home Tuesday night. Good. I hung up. Beverly called at 2 p.m. Her voice had that particular sweetness she used when she wanted you to do something you didn't want to do. Renee, sweetheart, I really think we all need to sit down before this gets blown out of proportion. Tara is devastated. She hasn't slept in 2 days. She said you showed up at her house and threatened her. Beverly. Your daughter cut my child's hair without permission and caused a 2-inch laceration. In this state, that's assault on a minor. The sweetness evaporated so fast it was almost impressive. Now you listen to me. Zoe told Tara she wanted a new hairstyle. Tara made a mistake going too far. That happens. But you are not going to turn a family matter into some kind of legal situation. It became a legal matter the moment my daughter came home bleeding. Then she said it. It's just hair, Renee. Stop making a crisis out of nothing. Just hair. 2 words that erased a 2-inch wound, a Ziploc bag, 11 photographs, and an 8-year-old girl's trust. 2 words that told me everything I needed to know about how Beverly had already decided this story would end. We're done talking, Beverly. First time I'd ever hung up on her. 17 minutes later, my phone buzzed with 4 texts from numbers I barely recognized. Beverly's sister in Murfreesboro. A cousin I'd met at one wedding. Marcus's uncle from Chattanooga. A woman from Beverly's Sunday school class who I'd spoken to exactly once. They all said some version of the same thing. Can't you just be reasonable? Tara's a single mom. This is going too far. 4 texts in under 20 minutes. She hadn't called them one by one. She'd sent a broadcast. The story was already packaged and delivered. Renee, the ungrateful outsider, the girl who had no family before the Callaways took her in, was trying to destroy everything over a haircut. I screenshotted every single text. Saved them in a folder I labeled Callaway. Then I picked Zoe up from school, made her mac and cheese, helped her practice her spelling words, and let the evening be normal. 'Cause that's what she needed it to be. Marcus walked in Tuesday evening at 7, still had his conference lanyard around his neck. He didn't say hello. He walked straight to the kitchen table and said, "Show me." I handed him my phone. He swiped through slowly. His jaw tightened on the 3rd photo, the close-up with the ruler. By the 6th, he was breathing through his mouth. Why didn't you call me right away? I called you Monday morning. Your mother called you Saturday night. He set the phone down. He understood what that meant. Beverly had gotten to him first. Softened the edges. Made it a haircut, not an injury. Marcus. If a stranger at a park did this to Zoe, what would you do? That's different. How? He had no answer. The honest kind of silence. Your mother has been calling every relative she knows, telling them I'm unstable and out to destroy Tara. I haven't called a single person except Zoe's doctor. So you tell me who's creating a crisis. He put his head in his hands, elbows on the table. The posture of a man trapped between the family that raised him and the family he chose. What do you want me to do? I want you to look at those photos one more time. And then I want you to decide whose daughter matters more, yours or your mother's. He flinched. Good. I meant him to. That night I slept in Zoe's room. Her hair was already coming in soft fuzz at the roots, catching the nightlight like copper wire. I lay next to her and opened my laptop. Now here's the part where things got very interesting. 2 years ago, Tara had shared a Google Photos album with the whole family. Callaway memories, she called it. Birthday parties, Thanksgivings, Brianna's soccer games. She'd asked me to add Zoe's photos too, for the kids to have someday. I'd added a handful and completely forgotten about it. Shared access doesn't expire unless someone removes you. I opened the album and scrolled to Saturday's date. 43 new photos. Face masks, nail polish, giggling. Totally normal, content-ready, cute. Then photo 36. Zoe sitting in that dining chair pulled up to the ring light. Tara standing behind her, silver scissors in hand, smiling directly at the camera. Tripod visible in the mirror reflection behind them. Photo 37. Scissors mid-cut. Tara's hand pulling the braid taut. Her expression focused. Professional. Like she's filming a tutorial. Photo 38. Zoe's face. She wasn't crying. She wasn't smiling. She had the expression children get when an adult is doing something they don't understand but they've been told to hold still for. Still. Compliant. Trusting. After photo 38, there were 7 more thumbnails, uploaded then deleted. Google keeps deleted photos in a recovery folder for 30 days. Even at thumbnail resolution, I could see what they contained. Photo 42. Zoe's hand pressed against her ear. A dark smear on her fingers. Photo 43. The yellow bucket hat already on her head, pulled low. She photographed the blood. She photographed the hat going on to hide it. Then she deleted those photos and sent my daughter home. I screenshotted every thumbnail. Saved the metadata. Upload times, deletion times, timestamps on everything. Then I found the Google Drive. Tara had added me to a shared content folder 2 years back when she'd asked me to review a family video for Thanksgiving. She never removed my access. Inside the folder, dozens of video files sorted by date, all titled and formatted for upload. Tara ran a tight operation. The most recent file, cousin underscore glow up and final done before. Dated Saturday at 4:51 p.m. I pressed play. The video opened on Zoe and Brianna in face masks laughing. Beat background music. Text overlay in a cute font, cousin glow up EP4. Then Tara's voice. Okay, girls. Time for the big makeover. Cut to Zoe in the chair. Ring light on. Tara running a brush slowly through Zoe's curls, letting the camera catch the color, the texture, the light bouncing off each coil. Voiceover, Zoe's got this incredible hair, y'all. I mean, look at these curls. But today we're giving both girls a fresh summer look. And then the scissors appeared. She positioned the braid. Smiled at the lens. Cut. She kept cutting. The braid came free in one pull. Tara held it up toward the camera like a trophy. Zoe sat frozen in the chair, hands in her lap. 2 minutes and 11 seconds, the scissors caught the top of Zoe's ear. Zoe made a sound, small, sharp, the kind a child makes when something hurts and they're trying not to make a big deal of it because the adults in the room told them to hold still. Tara's hand jerked. Her voice went flat. Oh, whoops. That's just a little nick, baby. You're fine. The video cut to black at 2:14. The rest, the blood, whatever happened after, had been edited out. The file was titled Exported 1080p Ready to Post. She didn't upload it because of the blood. That was the only thing that stopped her. I watched the video 3 times. Each time I noticed something new. The ring light reflected in Zoe's eyes. Tara rehearsing her opening line twice before the take. Brianna on the couch in the background, holding a throw pillow against her chest, completely still, watching her mother the way you watch something that makes you uneasy but you don't have the words for yet. And Zoe. My Zoe. Sitting perfectly still in that chair because she trusted the grown-ups in the room. I downloaded the video, saved it to my cloud, backed it up on a thumb drive. I closed my laptop at 1:40 in the morning. I did not sleep. But here's where things took a turn I did not expect. The next morning, Wednesday, before I'd even called an attorney, I got a phone call from a woman named Gloria Parks. Gloria is 44, a photographer in Nashville, and she'd done Tara's headshots about a year earlier. She'd followed Tara online but had grown uncomfortable with some of what she'd seen in the cousin content. I don't know if this is out of line, Gloria said. Her voice was careful but steady. But I saw something on Tara's account last month that I screenshotted because it bothered me. A comment she left on her own post. She'd replied to someone asking about Zoe and she wrote, well, she's basically my content co-host whether she knows it or not. She deleted it pretty fast, but I'd already saved it. Gloria texted me the screenshot while we were still on the phone. I don't know what's going on in your family, Gloria said. But if it helps, I want you to have it. I thanked her. I saved the screenshot. I added it to the folder. Whether Tara knew it or not, she'd been building a paper trail for months. And I was the person collecting it. Wednesday evening, Beverly summoned a family meeting. 7 o'clock, her house. Everyone needs to be there. Marcus thought we should go. Hear them out. I agreed. But I brought my phone with every screenshot and every photo, and I brought Marcus's college roommate Derek, now a paralegal, who owed Marcus a favor and agreed to sit in the driveway if I needed a witness to anything. That was my added safety net. Beverly's living room was arranged the way she always arranged things. Her chair at the center, everyone else orbiting it. Coffee and lemon cake on the sideboard. Tara on the couch with a tissue, eyes already red. Uncle Gerald and Aunt Pamela on the love seat. Beverly standing near the fireplace like she was about to give a speech. We're all family here, Beverly opened. Renee, I know you're upset. But Tara is absolutely devastated. She hasn't been herself since Sunday. Tara, why don't you go ahead? Tara performed right on cue. The trembling lip. The gulping breath. I was just trying to give the girls a bonding experience. Zoe said she wanted something new and I went too far. I am so sorry, she cried. Delicate, photogenic tears. Kind that don't take your mascara with them. Uncle Gerald leaned forward. See, she apologized. That's all you can ask for. Let's move forward as a family. Tara, I said, quiet and even. Did Zoe ask you to set up a ring light and film it? The room shifted. Tara's tears paused. Did Zoe ask you to title the video Cousin Glow Up Episode 4 and export it to 1080p for Instagram? How did you? You added me to your Google Drive 2 years ago. The video is still there. Dated Saturday, 4:51 p.m. fully edited. Ready to post. The only reason it isn't on your page right now is because my daughter started bleeding before you could clean it up. Uncle Gerald looked at Tara. Aunt Pamela looked at Beverly. Beverly looked at me with something I hadn't seen from her before, pure, cold calculation. That doesn't matter, Beverly said. What matters is that my 7-year-old daughter has a 2-inch cut on her scalp, and the woman who caused it filmed the entire thing to post on her monetized Instagram account. I reached into my bag and pulled out the yellow bucket hat and set it on the coffee table between the coffee cups and the cake. Nobody touched it. just sat there like evidence, which is exactly what it was. Pamela moved her coffee cup away from it without thinking, the way you'd move away from something hot. Ask Tara about the video, I said to the room. Ask her why there are deleted photo thumbnails of Zoe holding her ear and the hat already going on her head. Nobody asked. But everybody looked at Tara. And Tara said nothing. Her tissue was shredded in her lap. Then Beverly made the decision that ended any possibility of keeping this inside the family. She stood up. Renee, if you take this outside of this family, I will call my attorney. Marcus has equal parental rights, and I will make sure a judge hears about what kind of mother turns a family mistake into a federal case. I will petition for a custody evaluation so fast it'll make your head spin. She stepped toward me. We gave you a family. We gave you our name. You were nothing before you married into this house. Nothing. The room went completely silent. Uncle Gerald's mouth was open. Aunt Pamela had set her fork down. Even Tara had gone still. I let the words hang in the air long enough for everyone in that room to remember them. Then I said, "Thank you for being so clear, Beverly." I picked up the yellow hat. I walked to the front door. Marcus was already behind me. In the car, he didn't say a word. He didn't need to. At home, Zoe was asleep. The sitter said she'd eaten 2 bowls of tomato soup and spent an hour drawing horses with very long manis. I paid her, locked the door, and called Sophia. File the report tonight. A breath. I'll have it in by morning. Beverly wanted this to stay in the family. She made that impossible herself. Thursday morning, Sophia filed the mandatory report with Child Protective Services. Attached, medical documentation, 11 photographs, Zoe's statement transcribed by me. By 10 a.m., I was sitting across from attorney Karen Doyle, family law, referred by Mercy General's legal department, desk covered in files and a coffee mug that said due process. She had sharp eyes and absolutely no interest in small talk. I laid out everything. The photos. The medical report. The Google Drive video with timestamps. The deleted thumbnails. Gloria's screenshot of Tara's deleted comment. Tara's monetized account. Karen watched the video twice. The second time she paused at 2:14, the exact moment the scissors caught Zoe's ear, and held it there. The laceration alone is borderline for a criminal referral, she said. But filming a minor without parental consent for content on a monetized commercial platform opens a completely separate door. Combine that with the CPS report and you have grounds for an emergency protective order. File it, I said. She started typing. That evening, Tara went live on Instagram. I didn't watch in real time. Colleague texted me a screenshot. Tara was in her content chair. Ring light on. Eyes glistening. The lighting was perfect. Some of you may have noticed I've been a little quiet this week. I'm going through something really hard with a family member. Someone I trusted took a private moment and is trying to turn it into something it's not. She paused. Wiped one eye. I'm a single mom. I make mistakes. But I love my niece and I would never ever hurt a child. Her comment section exploded, exactly the way an algorithm-trained audience responds to performed vulnerability. Stay strong, Mama. You're the best, don't let anyone drag you down. We see you, we love you. She didn't name me. She didn't have to. In a town of 14,000 people, everybody knew. By Friday morning, I had 5 DMs from women I'd met at Beverly's house over the years. Heard you're trying to get Tara arrested over a haircut. Seems like a lot. I've seen you at school pickup, Renee. You don't seem like the type. But wow, this really seems extreme. Tara is barely keeping the lights on. That account is everything to her. 5 messages about Tara's feelings. 0 about my daughter's ear. Not one person asked how Zoe was doing. I didn't reply to a single one. I forwarded Tara's Instagram live to Karen Doyle with one sentence. She's using her commercial platform to manage public opinion about an open CPS case. Karen wrote back within the hour, "Save everything. This actually helps us." Brianna's birthday party was Saturday at 2 p.m. Tara had sent the invitation 3 weeks earlier. 50 guests. A live stream. I had it on my refrigerator, held up by a sunflower magnet. Friday night. Zoe in bed. Marcus and I at the kitchen table. Overhead light on. Nothing else. "My mom called again," Marcus said. He looked exhausted in a way that sleep wouldn't fix. "She says if you show up at that party, she'll call the police for harassment. I was invited by your sister 3 weeks ago." "I know." He put his phone on the table between us. "I opened the Google Drive myself this afternoon. I watched the whole video." My chest went tight. "When?" "This afternoon. Mom kept telling me it was just photos, said you were twisting everything into some drama you'd invented. So I went and looked myself." He was staring at the table. "I watched my sister cut our daughter's hair while smiling at a camera. I watched her hold the braid up like she'd won something." He stopped. Started again. "I called Mom. Told her I'd seen the video. She said," he shook his head, "she said I shouldn't have been snooping through Tara's private files." He wiped his face with both hands. "My daughter is bleeding in a video. And my mother's first thought is that I shouldn't have looked." His voice broke on that last word. Just slightly. Enough for me to hear it. "I'm coming with you tomorrow." "Marcus." "Once we walk in there, there's no taking it back." I should have said something Monday. I should have said it Saturday when she called me in Atlanta. I believed her because I always believe her and He stopped. Put his palm flat on the table, facing up. I looked at his hand for a moment. I put mine on top of it. Some things you rebuild 1 inch at a time. The same way hair grows back. Slowly. New. Curly at the roots. Saturday morning. Party at 2. I wore a plain blue top and dark jeans. No jewelry beyond my wedding ring. I wasn't performing for anyone. I printed 3 copies of everything. Sophia's medical report. Key screenshots. The Google Drive video file with its title and timestamp. The deleted photo thumbnails. The Instagram live where Tara had positioned herself as the victim while an active CPS case was open. Each set in a clear plastic sleeve. The CPS case number redacted on hospital letterhead on top. Zoe went to Miss Deb's house next door. I packed her a bag, coloring books, her stuffed elephant, her favorite playlist on a little Bluetooth speaker. She stood in the doorway while I zipped it. "Is Aunt Tara gonna be mad at me?" I got on her level. "Nobody gets to be mad at you for having your own hair. Nobody. Not ever." She thought about that. "Okay. Can Miss Deb and me make banana bread?" I already asked her. She said yes. Miss Deb collected Zoe at 11, waved to me over the fence. Her eyes asked a question. Mine answered it. "I've got this." Marcus pulled into Beverly's neighborhood at 1:55. Kept both hands on the wheel the whole drive. Radio off. Windows up. "You don't have to say anything," I told him. "Just stand next to me. I'll be there." I believed him. For the first time all week, I really believed him. Beverly's backyard looked like a Pinterest board. Pink and gold balloons on every fence post. A banner reading "Happy 9th Birthday, Brianna." A 3-tier cake with a unicorn on top. Tables with white cloth, paper plates, the whole setup. 50-some people milling around with sweet tea and little kids chasing each other around the swing set. And in the corner near the cake table, Tara's ring light already on. Phone on a tripod. Red recording dot blinking. She was live streaming the party. Tara spotted us first. Her face ran through 3 expressions in half a second: surprise, anger, the smile that paid her mortgage. "Marcus." Renee. So glad you could make it. Camera voice. She tilted slightly toward the tripod. Pure performance. Beverly materialized at the gate. I'm surprised you had the nerve. Mom. Marcus's voice was quiet and steady. We're here for Brianna's birthday. Beverly looked at me. Where's Zoe? With a friend. You didn't bring your own daughter to her cousin's birthday party. What kind of? The kind whose daughter still has a wound above her ear, I said. Beverly went red. She turned and walked back toward the cake table. Marcus and I found 2 chairs near the fence. I held the manila folder flat against my side under my arm. Janet, that was the name of the woman Gloria had suggested I reach out to, a friend of Beverly's who'd apparently been growing increasingly uncomfortable with how Beverly talked about me for years. I called her Thursday. She was here across the yard in a green sundress. Our eyes met. She gave me one small nod. Tara circulated. She was working the crowd beautifully, laughing with the school moms, crouching down to hug kids, keeping one eye on the camera. Classic content creator mode, every interaction a potential clip. Then she picked up the scissors to cut the ribbon off one of Brianna's gift boxes. Same scissors. Silver handle. Dark wood grip. The ones I'd photographed through her doorway 4 nights ago with my daughter's hair still caught in the hinge. She was using them to open birthday presents. Marcus saw them at the same moment I did. I felt his whole body go still beside me. A few minutes later, Tara set up the portable projector on the patio, screen mounted on the fence. Okay, everyone. I put together a little video for Brianna's birthday. Some highlights from her year, including our fun cousin spa day last weekend. The montage started playing. Brianna at the beach. Brianna's school play. The girls with face masks. Cute, harmless, charming, the crowd oohed and laughed. Then an 8-second clip. Zoe in the chair. Ring light visible. Tara's fingers in her curls, scissors just entering the frame. A text overlay in pretty cursive, cousin glow up, coming soon. A school mom right in front of me said, "Oh, that's adorable." She didn't know. None of them knew what happened 4 seconds after that clip ended. Tara was scanning the crowd, eating up the reactions. I looked at Marcus. He was already looking at me. He nodded. I stood up. The chair scraped on the patio stone. People turned. Tara saw me standing. Her smile held, but her eyes went flat. Renee, did you want to say something? Actually, yes. I walked toward the projector. One foot, then the other. The way I walk into a room when a child is in distress. No rushing, no wasted motion, everything in me calm because the situation requires it. People stopped talking. Forks went still. 30, 40 faces turned toward me. I opened the folder. Tara's smile cracked. What are you doing? Beverly was on her feet. Renee. This is not the time. Beverly, on Tuesday you told me this was just hair. My voice carried without me raising it, the way a voice does when it's the only one speaking. On Wednesday you told me I was nothing before this family. You told Marcus I was twisting things. So let me untwist them right here. I turned to face the crowd. My daughter came home from this house last Sunday wearing a yellow bucket hat she'd never owned. Underneath it, a 2-inch cut above her ear and her hair cut to the scalp. Her braid was in a plastic bag. A woman near the front pressed her hand to her mouth. She is 7 years old. I held up the first page. This is a medical report from Dr. Sophia Reyes, board-certified pediatrician at Mercy General Hospital. It documents a laceration on my daughter's scalp caused by scissors applied with downward force near the ear. I turned it so the people in the front row could read the letterhead. A woman from Beverly's church group leaned forward. Someone gasped. This, second page, is a screenshot from Tara's Google Drive. A video file titled Cousin Glow Up Episode 4 Final. dated this past Saturday at 4:51 p.m. The video shows Tara cutting my daughter's hair under a ring light on camera with a title card already designed and formatted for upload to Instagram. It was edited, exported, ready to post. Tara stepped forward. That is private property. You shared that folder with me 2 years ago, Tara. You asked me to review a family Thanksgiving video. You never removed my access. She stopped. Third page. These are thumbnails from our shared family photo album. 6 photos taken after the cut, then deleted. Thumbnail resolution. You can still see my daughter pressing her hand to her ear. You can see the blood. You can see the hat going on to cover it up. The yard was silent. Somewhere behind the fence, a neighbor's sprinkler clicked on, clicked off. Tara turned to Beverly. Mom, do something. Beverly was white, then red. Her hands were fists at her sides. She looked at me, and then she looked at the 50-some faces watching her, and something cracked open inside her. You were nothing before this family. She was screaming. Actually screaming. We took you in. We gave you everything. We gave you our name. And this is how you repay us. I didn't flinch. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't step back. Janet stood up from her chair. Her voice traveled clean across the yard. Beverly, I've seen the photographs. That child was bleeding. 3 more women stood. A school mom, let her finish. A woman from Beverly's church group. Beverly, sit down. Someone I didn't know. Show us the report. Pages began to circulate. I handed the close-up of Zoe's ear, ruler beside the wound, dried blood, scalp visible, to Janet. She held it at arm's length, looked at it for a long moment, and passed it down the row. I could track its path through the crowd by the reactions. The sharp inhale. The slow head shake. The hand going to the mouth. Brianna's soccer coach standing near the back fence. This happened to that little girl? Last weekend? Here. In this house, I said. On camera. Tara grabbed for the folder. You cannot just show people my. Marcus stepped between them. Close. Tara. Stop. Danny, she is ruining Brianna's birthday. You cut our daughter's hair to the scalp while you were filming it for Instagram. His voice was low and controlled and absolute. You did this. Tara backed into a chair and folded. Crying started, the loud, gasping kind, the kind that isn't for the camera. Real this time, maybe. I'm just trying to survive. I lost my sponsors. I lost my income. I was trying to make something work. I'm a single mom, nobody understands how hard. For half a breath I saw her clearly. The woman underneath the ring light. Exhausted. Broke. A person whose entire financial identity depended on how many strangers double-tapped a photo. Then she looked up at me through wet eyes and said, if you had just let me use Zoe in the videos, none of this would have happened. Any sympathy I'd had went cold. She wasn't sorry for cutting my daughter. She was sorry I hadn't cooperated. Beverly was still on her feet, voice gone ragged. This is family business. Everyone needs to leave. Nobody moved. The churchwoman in the green cardigan. Beverly, we all need to see those photographs. Pages moved through the crowd. I didn't watch them. I didn't watch Tara or Beverly or the tripod with its blinking red light. Tara had forgotten to turn it off. The live stream was still running. 370 people watching in real time. In the comment section, someone typed, "Wait, is that a medical report? Are those photos real?" Someone else, "Is that blood on a kid?" I turned to face the yard one last time. I didn't come here to destroy anyone's birthday. I came because last Sunday my daughter asked me if she was in trouble. She thought she'd done something wrong because an adult cut her hair and told her it wasn't fair. I let that land. I filed a report with Child Protective Services. I've petitioned for an emergency protective order restricting Tara's unsupervised contact with my daughter. I didn't want to do either of those things. I did them because when I came to this family and asked them to address what happened to my child, I was told it was just hair. I turned to Beverly. You said I was nothing before this family. You're right, I was a foster kid. I had nobody. I know better than most people what it feels like to have no one protecting you. My voice stayed level. I made sure of it. That is exactly why my daughter will never feel that way. Not for one single second. I picked up the folder and the yellow hat from the chair beside me and looked at Marcus. We're leaving. We walked to the gate through the balloons and the streamers and the 3-tier cake with the unicorn on top. Nobody stopped us. Beverly was still saying something. I didn't turn around to catch it. Tara was sobbing somewhere behind me. And 50 people stood in silence. Sometimes silence is the loudest verdict a community can deliver. By the time we pulled into our driveway, the internet had already started. Tara's accidental live stream had peaked at 370 viewers. At least 15 people had recorded clips on their own phones. By Saturday night, those clips were spreading through local Facebook groups, not because I shared them, not because Marcus shared them, but because 50 people at a birthday party had watched a woman scream, "You were nothing," at the person holding a signed medical report about a child's injury. By midnight, Tara's follower count had dropped from 82,000 to 64,000. Her remaining sponsor, a Nashville boutique called Clover & Sage, posted a one-sentence statement: "We are no longer affiliated with at Tara McKessett work, effective immediately." Beverly called Marcus 7 times between 9 p.m. and midnight. He answered none of them. My phone stayed dark. I posted nothing. Shared nothing. Tagged no one. I picked Zoe up from Miss Deb's at 7:30. She'd made banana bread, watched a movie about a dog who learns to skateboard, and fallen asleep in Miss Deb's armchair with flowers still on her elbow. I put her to bed in her own pajamas in her own room in the house I bought with my own savings with her name on the deed. Her hair was coming in soft copper fuzz that caught the nightlight when I leaned over to kiss her. 2 weeks later, here's what the ledger looked like. CPS closed their initial investigation with a formal warning placed on Tara's file. No criminal charges filed, but the record exists. A second incident involving any child, not just Zoe, escalates automatically. The emergency protective order was granted by a family court judge the following Tuesday. Tara is prohibited from unsupervised contact with Zoe. A third adult must be present at any interaction. Tara did not contest it. Karen said that was the smartest thing Tara had done throughout the entire ordeal. I agreed. Beverly went quiet. No Sunday dinner invitations. No group texts. No calls. Janet told me later that 3 women from Beverly's church group told her they needed some space from her for a while. One of them, the woman in the green cardigan, mailed me a card. No message inside. Just her phone number and the words, "If you ever need anything." Tara's Instagram went private the following Monday. Cousin Glow Up series was deleted entirely. Her follower count settled at 51,000 and kept falling. She hasn't posted in 18 days as of this recording. Marcus moved to the guest room for 1 week at my request. Then he moved back. We started couples therapy. Not because he's forgiven, not because everything's clean and good, but because he wants to understand why his first instinct was always to believe his mother's version of events before mine. Our therapist is a woman named Dr. Harding who asks questions nobody in the Calloway family has apparently ever been asked before. Questions like, whose feelings are you managing right now? And why? Brianna started seeing a school counselor after her teacher noticed she performs for every camera she can find. Classroom tablets, hallway monitors, the camera on a school laptop. She performs like a child who has spent years being filmed. Counselor called Tara in for a conference. Gloria, the photographer who called me Wednesday morning, testified as a character witness when Karen needed one. I don't think she'll ever fully understand how much that mattered. Tara was required to attend a parenting awareness class as part of the CPS recommendations. I wasn't told whether she completed it. I didn't ask. I never got an apology from Tara. I never got one from Beverly. For the first time in 9 years, I didn't need one. Zoe's hair is 3.5 inches long now. It's coming back curly, baby spirals, all copper, catching the light when she runs. Last Saturday, she stood in the accessories aisle at Walgreens for 12 full minutes choosing a headband. Blue with tiny white flowers. She picked it up, put it down, compared it to a yellow one, put that down, went back to the blue one, examined it again, and finally held it up to me. This one. That one, I agreed. 12 minutes of a child exercising authority over her own appearance. I did not rush her once. Not for a single second. On the drive home, she asked, very casually, the way kids ask the things that matter most to them, "Mommy, when my hair gets all the way long again, can I decide who touches it?" I reached back and squeezed her hand. Always, baby. It was always yours. I spent 29 years believing any family was better than no family. I married into one. I sat at the end of the table for 9 years. I smiled through every the redhead comment and every plate Beverly set farthest from her own because I thought that was just the price of belonging. Tax you paid for having a seat. It's not. Belonging doesn't ask you to hide your daughter's blood under a yellow hat. And if it does, it was never belonging. It was proximity to people who needed an audience more than they needed a family. That's my story. 1 yellow bucket hat. 1 manila folder. And a mother who finally stopped sitting at the end of the table. If this reminded you that protecting your child is never an overreaction, share it with someone who needs to hear that today. Drop a comment below, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.